Okay, here we go again. This is version 1.0.8 of the open source Tonex One Controller project. The main new feature in 1.0.8 is support for up to 16 foot switches. So I've built up myself a little test platform with 10 foot switches here. At the moment, you can see I'm able to select between up to 10 presets without any bank switching. And then with two buttons together, I can change up to the second bank, which gives me 11 through to 20. And down back to the first bank. So here's a quick overview of how it was built. So the box is made by Hammond Manufacturing. It came already painted black. It's about US $20 or so. There's certainly a lot of smaller ones available if anyone wants to make a much smaller pedal than the huge thing I made. And these are the foot switches I got from Amazon. So again, about 20 bucks, got me a pack of 13. And they're a really nice switch, silent operation, and work great. And finally, the electronic part that makes all this possible is this little device, which is an I/O expander, which allows extra inputs, and this works on all supported platforms. So even the 4.3B now breaks out of the previous limit of 2 and goes up to 16. Here's just a quick couple of little videos of when I was making it. A pedestal drill with a compound table certainly helps for drilling accurate holes, but yeah, just drilling them out with a smaller hole for a start. And then coming back for a second pass with large drill bits, like a 1/2 inch or 13mm drill bit. And that's what's inside. It's a bit messy. I didn't bother too much making it too fancy, but effectively there's one ground wire commoned up to all switches, and then each one wires through. So on the GitHub page, I've now updated a lot of documentation to cover the new stuff. So first of all, in the hardware platforms page, there is all the wiring details of this. So here's the I/O expander board, the little SparkFun one. There is an address setting that's required to be done through cutting little tiny tracks and putting little solder bridges in. And here's the wiring that's required for each of the supported platforms. And then if we go back to the Wi-Fi configuration page, this is updated also, giving some details of how the foot switches can be configured. So first of all, there's, I'll go over in detail a bit later, but there's preset switching layouts, a number of predefined layouts using various number of switches in various configurations, some of which have bank switching through button combinations, and a few that have dedicated bank switch buttons as well. And here's some details about the effect switching. I'll try to make it very versatile and powerful, but I'll cover this shortly. Okay, so let's have a look at some the preset arrangement. So I've got it set to 2x5A. That's my my 10-way foot switch. But let's say if you go back to 1x3, so that would be 3 foot switches, and bank switching done through 1+2 and 2+3. If we set 1x4, that's one row of 4 switches. So those 4 would be active, and then bank switching from 3+4 and 1+2. 1x5 is obviously 5 switches in a row, and bank switching from the first 2 and the last 2. And then the 2 ones are 2 rows. That's 2 rows of 3 switches. So that's those 6. So those 6 there. And again, bank switching is done from the first 2 and the last 2. 2x4, total of 8 switches. And once again, bank switching same way. So now the 2x5A, so that one is what I use normally. That one has bank switching on 1+2 and 4+5. Now 2x5B is similar, except buttons 9 and 10 are dedicated up and down bank switching buttons. So there's no double combination required for that. And 2x6A, again, has bank switching from combination buttons 1 and 2 and 5 and 6. And then 2x6B was a total of 12 switches, with the 11th and the 12th switch dedicated to bank up and bank down. So I'm going to put it back to 1x5, and let's have a look at the effects that we've got. So we have 5 effect slots, effects 1 through 5, and we can assign an individual foot switch and then set what control change number and MIDI values are sent when those foot switches are pressed. So we can use it for things like enabling or disabling reverb and those kind of things. So I'm going to assign button number 6 here. And so we're going to have a look at the Tonex Big Pedals manual, and referring to its MIDI control table here gives us the values that we need to look at. So we can locate ones that we want to change, and we can look at the MIDI values that are required to change them. So there's heaps and heaps available in here. So we enter the control change number that we want to do. So number 2 in this case, and MIDI value 127 and 0 are the ones that correspond for 2. 2 being the delay off and on value. So save settings and reboot. And once we reconnect again, so let's have a look at the settings in here. So we look at the delay tab, and then as I push the button, delay gets turned on, so that's 127, push it again, and then it gets set to 0, which turns it back off again. And I still have, I've got 1x5 set as the preset switching, so we have the bottom 5, and those buttons at the top there are currently unassigned. So let's look now at FX2. Let's assign another one, so button number 7. We'll set control change 32, which is the modulation power setting. Once again, 127 and 0 for enable and disable. We save and reboot. And if we look in here under modulation, now we push that foot switch, we can see that it's toggling the power on that modulation. So now let's do a FX3. So we're going to assign button number 8, and this time we're going to do value 75. 75 is reverb, reverb power. So once again, 127 and 0 are the 2 values. So we save and reboot. Let's have a look now at the reverb one. So there's our reverb toggling, and here's our modulation again, and here's our delay. And there's still have our 5 foot switches for preset selection at the bottom. So that's it. The 1.0.8 is up now in the beta release area. So check it out and hit me up with any bug reports or anything else. Okay, thanks for watching. Until next time.